Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a quick tip. I've got some nice coffee right here. Been watching a replay, little guest help from Nona Manidis from clan D_D. He's with Awcrap from his clan as well in his CS52 here on Himmel's Siegfried Leindorf. I've talked about this in the past. I'm going to show you another great example of using the Sixth Sense skill as a de facto spotting mechanism. Also using that SA to avoid damage. Now Sixth Sense is given to everybody, so if you're a new player and don't have a lot of experience with it, doesn't take too long to kind of figure it out, but we'll talk a little bit about the ins and outs of some of the more unusual things you can do with it. Nona here is on Siegfried line, as I said, and he's been looking at this T22 TM over here, right? So we'll just zoom on out if we can. This guy's been hanging out on the other side, on the south side, and they've kind of peeked and poked a couple times. And I want you to watch what Nona does when he comes to this rubble pile right in front of him, and he's watching the marker move right there. All right, so he's taking a couple pieces of SA. He knows the 122 is there. It starts to move. He pushes out, knowing that the 122 doesn't have shots. Ideally, there's nobody sitting on that corner, but he's looked at it a couple times and no one has been. The 122 has been moving around a bit, but watch what he does here with his Sixth Sense and his knowledge of the game. All right, there goes the 122, and if you watch the marker down on the mini-map and kind of pay attention to the relative line of sight of the 122, it looks like he's driving away, right? He's coming from on this screen from right to left, but he's also going away. Notice the ridge right here where this bush is, all right? 122, other things he knows, 122 has a great turret and it has really good gun depression. So if I was going to go take a hold down spot, that little spot would be an ideal one, especially if I knew this Progetto was kind of peeking around or other guys were looking on this corner. He's going to push out and then disappear. All right, so he's unspotted now. The 122 has gone away. Notice that also the marker went up and down, indicating he went up and over a ridge, probably the same ridge or one nearby. So he kind of goes up and down, and now Nona is going to sit here and wait for a moment and watch what he does. Going to wait. Looking into the bush. Now what he wants is the 122 to appear, right? Maybe the guy pushes up. Maybe he can't fit the whole 122 in the bush and he gets a little edge over here poking out. But watch how this goes down. Oh, all right. There's the Sixth Sense indicator. That happens to be 3 seconds after he was lit. Good news for Nona is either the guy wasn't really prepared to shoot, potentially he didn't have his turret on him, or because the 122 has a quite long aim time, he was waiting to nicely aim in, but he waited too long. When you start to get aim times around 2.5 to 3 seconds, you start to get a problem with your Sixth Sense warning people, and then they start to move away before you can get zoomed in. That's one of the issues right here. So Nona just took a stab into that bush with a shot, obviously knew he was spotted, and backs out instead of waiting for that guy to shoot him. Now, it's very possible he could have been spotted from somewhere else. You know, somebody shows up behind. You got to watch for stuff like that. But in that little engagement and the SA that he had, he's pretty certain that's the guy. In any event, there's no need to sit there, right, and take a shot in the face wherever it was you were spotted from. I thought that was a great little sequence by Nona, using that Sixth Sense as kind of a passive spotting. More than likely, it was the 122 that got in there. He was probably waiting to zoom in. Because he has a fairly long aim time, it got Nona out of the way in time. Plus, he took a stab in there. We didn't see the guy die, so unfortunately didn't get the guy. But he may have plinked off the turret, and more than likely the guy saw him fire. And now he is writing a letter to Wargaming saying hacks. There's a lot of little nuances in this game with the game mechanics, and that's a great one. Thanks, Nona. I appreciate sending me this replay so I can show it. I've got another one actually for Nona, so there'll be another quick tip on this as well. Thanks for tuning in. That's all I've got. We will see ya.